Good evening, explorers. I know this thing is like 3 months late, so let's just get into it. Caffeinated Gamer 45 asks, what would you say is the funniest death you've ever had across your years of playing ITR? Definitely this one, then, because I completely forgot. A guy asks, what are your other hobbies outside of playing ITR? I mean, I don't really do much besides playing video games with my friends and going out shooting whenever the weather is merciful. I also like camping too, but it's been a while since I've gone and done that. Shockwave029 asks, what kept you going initially and still going for Stalker Nightmare? Well, to put it simply, when I start something, I'm usually pretty determined on finishing it. Every time I get a good run in, I get slightly farther, which fuels that fire to keep going. I wish I hadn't started the challenge on the hardest difficulty, but I already made that bet a while ago. Now I just gotta lay in it. And what's your scariest experience you've ever had in ITR? In terms of pure fear, I think near the end of my latest Stalker run. It wasn't one thing in particular, it was just a build-up from the entire run. The fear of losing when I had come so far made it so that I could hardly compose myself. And, how are you doing? I'm good, Chief. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Red Jacket Dragon asks, my question for you is, do you wish that 1.0's vision could have been fully realized, or do you prefer 2.0? It's kind of hard to say. Overall, I do think if they just put all the resources from making ITR 2.0 what it is, and instead put it into improving 1.0, we could have gotten an overall better product, in my opinion. That being said, I don't blame CM Games for going the route that they did. 1.0 would have never run on the Quest headset. Shit, my whole ass computer doesn't even handle it very well. There was simply too much money left out on the table by not including the Quest audience, and for what it's worth, CM Games did an excellent job in overhauling the experience. So, despite the loss in potential, I still think we got a good deal. Meme Man 8352 asks, what is your favorite flat screen game and VR game? Well, VR game, I think that one's pretty obvious. Flat screen is a bit tougher. I've played a lot of fucking games, so it's hard to choose just one. The one I default to the most often, though, is Fallout New Vegas. It was my first RPG, which is a fucking shame because it spoiled me rotten. And what franchise would you like to see in VR? I think a Halo game in VR would be pretty fucking awesome to see, especially if it was a game like ODST. There was a Pavlov mod that was a combination of Halo ODST and COD Zombies, and let me tell you, that was a fucking thing to experience as a longtime Halo fan. Our teammates are not feeling so good right now.
Don't worry. Keep grinding Overwatch. I think I hear TFG.
He's screaming over the radio, I think.
Hey, saying fall back. You guys, boys, you guys get out of there. You gotta get out of there now.
Get up! Fucking shit, man. Unfortunately, you can't play that mod anymore because the Pavlov devs are a bunch of fucking assholes. Why couldn't you have just made a sequel? Why? Why'd you have to fuck it all up? And finally, what would you like to see in ITR 2? There's a lot of things I want ITR 2 to have. I might make a video on that subject alone, but if I had to narrow it down, I just want more detail. When it comes to immersive VR experiences, the devil is in the details. Nicer food eating and opening animations, more in-depth health system that goes beyond shoving a syringe into your arm, attention to detail in the weapons and making them interact with the world in a more realistic way. You know, that sort of stuff. Plenty of Nothing, what's up homie, asks, what other YouTubers or channels have you used for inspiration for your videos? Early on, I was compared to Martin Ceto Pants quite a lot, and I do think I took a lot of inspiration from his videos without necessarily realizing it, although I think I have carved out my own style as I've evolved as a creator. I knew I'd find you in here, you fucking bastard. T. Cussy asks, is there any other games you're planning to play in the future? In terms of YouTube, I'm going to be sticking to ITR for a while. There's still a lot of stuff I want to do, and with ITR getting good work put into it, when it comes out in its totality, it'll keep me busy. I am going to make other videos here and there, but for the most part, ITR is my bread and butter. For now. What is your favorite piece of fan art that has been released through your channel's life? Hard pick. I've gotten a few really good pieces of fan art. And sorry to say, TQ, you are not in that echelon. And when is the 10,000 subscriber hot tub stream you totally planned with Jaeger and TFG? Ask TFG. I'm putting him in charge of those arrangements. Juggernome asks, what guns and calibers would you want to see added in ITR 2? If I had to pick one in particular, probably 5.7 by 28. I love the 5.7 pistol in P90. Plus, I think it would be a sensible pick for the type of vibe that they're going for now in ITR 2. What do you think ITR 1 could have done better, and how would you change it in ITR 2? ITR 1 was such a good fucking game in my eyes. I really don't have any hard criticisms of it. The only thing I wish was slightly more fleshed out was maybe the healing system. To make it shrimple, I really like Escape from Tarkov's healing system. It's just the right amount of complexity to be engaging without being annoying, again, in my opinion. Would be extra cool if we got to heal our buddies too. Ain't no bonding activity quite like pulling a bullet out of your buddy's leg while he's laying down suppressive fire. What was something that scared and confused you the most when you first started playing ITR? So back in the 1.0 version of the game, like way back in the day before I had a channel, I could just never understand web anomalies. Like, I would always walk into one, not understand what's happening, and just fucking die. It got so bad, I just refused to walk in the woods because that's where they would usually happen. EU Slayer asks, what is the oldest gun I have? The oldest gun I have in terms of manufacturing date is my Nagant revolver, which is from 1942. But my oldest gun in terms of design is my Mosin Nagant rifle, which was designed in 1891. BloodTwin161 asks, what was your reason for making a YouTube channel? So I've made several attempts at making YouTube videos in the past. Some were better than others, but nothing ever really stuck. I actually have a few of those videos that are unlisted, and I might make them public or like, fuck it, you know what, I'll drop a link in the description. If you wanna see like my very early attempts at YouTube, you can just look for the link in the description. It'll be there. It wasn't until I randomly decided to stream Into the Radius to Twitch that I got my first nugget of success. Over my first Deathless playthrough, I managed to get an average of like 8 viewers, which at the time was absolutely insane. So I decided to make a video out of my VODs and my little adventure through the Radius. Uploaded it one night, woke up in the morning with several thousand views and hundreds of comments praising the video. By the end of the month, I had gotten over 1,000 subs, and the rest is history. I guess I was just in the right place at the right time. Will you make videos of and stream other games? Yes, I have a few other videos on my channel about other games, but they never do well because it's not ITR, and YouTube gets angry if I don't post ITR content. Like, seriously, this, in my opinion, is the best video I've ever made, and it did horribly because, well, it's not ITR. Tom Smith 2417 asks, do you think ITR 2 will be better than ITR 1? It has the potential to be. I think it probably will be at some point, but it's still got a long ways to go. Lynn with a Win asks, what would you do for a Klondike bar? What's good, bro Hamsky? You mind if I get a munch on that bar? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean no? What do you mean? Dill's ice cream, does that mean you got some Klondike bars? No, that's a shame. Oh, okay. Oh. Now 4 bits. Have at the Klondike night. Jackson asks, my only question is, are you a fur? Kyle Elliott 6861 asks, do you have prescription lenses for your headset? I noticed you wear glasses. I don't have any, but I have considered getting some since the glasses can be pretty annoying under the headset sometimes. MapKid asks, when is bro hopping on ITR2 again? I'm getting back to ITR2 whenever the game is beatable. Once the ending of the game is out, I will come back to it. Cheesy Gaming 2 official asks, are you a role player or military role player? If you're asking if I'm a LARPer, no, I'm not really into that. Accord Yeen asks, is he a furry? Or Dr. Forgettable asks, what is your favorite entity in the zone? I would probably say mimics in general. They are what I consider the main threat and the most fun to fight by far. VTuber Addict 6867 asks, what do you think about the socio-economic situation of the Eastern Roman Empire in the 11th century?
Nada being chat through one of those.
That One Man 5 asks, why synth? Because I like Lizard. I like sci-fi stuff. You put the two together. Explorer Joel asks, do you plan to branch out in your variety of VR or desktop games on the channel? Yes, I still want to make videos on other games here and there. It's just not a priority unless I really need a break from ITR. Also, for those who don't know, Jaeger and I stream a lot on his Twitch channel doing other games. Y'all should check it out. That'll be down in the description as well. Who is Joe? That's a good question. I'm not sure who Joe is, but I might know somebody who does. Just rolling up to the Waffle House right here. Look at this fine gentleman. I bet he knows who Joe is. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Do you know who Joe is?
Joe Mama.
Plenty of nothing. Ooh, you special. You get 2. Asks, what do you think is missing, if anything at all, from VR gaming? Like, what kind of games or experiences are missing from our current VR options? RPGs. Straight up. No, fucking Skyrim doesn't count. Like, as good as Crystal Hunt mode for Blade and Sorcery is, I really wish we got something closer to a proper RPG instead. Like, just imagine how much fun it would be to have the combat of Blade and Sorcery with, like, the world of Elder Scrolls Oblivion. The shit would be legendary. Bread3725 asks, is the relationship between you and TFG purely physical? No, it was very romantic. I kissed the homies goodnight, but I kissed TFG good morning, if you know what I'm saying.
I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Pugs asks, when will the Maid fundraiser / Maid stream happen? Whenever I figure out how to make it happen. It might be sooner than you think. Doc Myers asks, what is your favorite map? My favorite map is probably Pobetta. It's a good mix of indoor / outdoor combat, loot, and tough enough entities. The only thing that sucks about it is it's the only map with no shortcut to Vano. So you always have to go through some other map in order to get to it and get back, which is kind of annoying. And what is your favorite main mission or replayable mission type? I think my favorite mission is a Farewell Feast. Having a puzzle incorporated into the mission makes it a bit more interesting. I guess it's not really a puzzle, it's just more of like extra steps you have to take, and you know, at least the first time going through it, having to go on that little scavenger hunt to grab all the food and put it on the table and make the fucking thing explode is fun. I wish more missions in ITR had some complexity to them like that. Like, imagine if instead of finding the bomb in the intrusion, you had to build it somehow. What if in fixing a leak, you had to do like a little investigation using hints in the area to find a hidden folder that's in a randomized spot? You know, stuff like that. What was the first time you played VR? What was it like? My first VR game I ever played was Propagation VR because it was free. And holy shit. Get off! Get off! 1,500 hours later, and this shit still makes me piss my pants. I also had issues with motion sickness, like most people do. I genuinely got very close to throwing up my first session, but I got over it after, I want to say, around 10 hours of using it. P-Man12345, the OG, asks, what did you use for the drum mag effect? Lotion. It was lotion. I'm still on the fence about if that joke was too out of pocket, but it seems to have been received well enough, so you know. GMC770 asks, would you try to rizz up the girls with the Gorka 4 in the Alton? Try? Try? You couldn't comprehend the amount of bitches I get on this Laser Kisser 7855 asks, got any VR horror games in mind? Not really. I played a couple already, but I don't really know if there's anything else that's good on the market, at least in terms of PC VR. Evan Strachan2512 asks, will you be planning on having a second channel that will have different content on it, like a different gaming genre, or flat screen and VR? The only way I would consider a second channel is if I hired a dedicated editor. I can barely keep up with my main channel as it is, let alone a side one. Ghost6Z asks, what is your least favorite food? I don't have one. I'll eat a fucking rock if you told me it was food, and I would do it happily. Wasp66 asks, would you ever play Deep Rock Galactic even though it's flat screen? I wouldn't be against trying it. I hear it's good. Also, why did you put fucking -wasp? I can read your fucking name! Oh, Rustum asks, are you upset that the devs plan fewer weapons for ITR2 than there were in ITR1? A little bit, yeah. I think ITR1 had the perfect variety of weapons with different types, side grades, gimmicks, and thematically sensible inclusions. I doubt the reduced roster will fill all the same gaps that the original game did, but we'll see. If CM Games makes the game as mod-friendly as they claim, I'm sure modders will pick up the slack. Electrical Shortage asks, opinion on the word bazinga. Jesse Bird 7875 asks, what are your opinions on the SIG XM250 and the MCX Spear and the 6.8 round as a whole? I think it's pretty cool. The bimetal case is an interesting workaround to achieve higher pressures. I'm not going to speak on it from a war and tactics standpoint. I'm just not well informed enough on that front, but it seems to have serious benefits and drawbacks. Narek25 asks, how much have you seen from ITR2 so far, and are you still planning on waiting for 1.0 before playing it? I haven't seen much. It's impossible for me to avoid it completely, but for the most part, I haven't seen a whole lot. I know there's a new urban map and something about a death cube. I don't fucking know. Swami Pelli, I think that is that okay. Swami Pelli 0866 asks, how many hours do you have on ITR? 636 hours at the time of writing. Baby Carrots asks, I think you were, but I can't remember. Were you in the armed forces? I was in the U.S. Army Reserves as a satellite communications operator. Basically, I was a super pogue. I did deploy once, but I was stuck in Kuwait the whole time. If I wasn't PMCSing Humvees or inspecting STTs, I was playing video games and showing people how to get past the paywall for the barracks Wi-Fi in Minecraft. Anyway, that's about all the questions I got time for. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, explorers.